his segments. Like, he was in three different locations. And for one of the segments, he was sort of in this, like, you know, the ditch where it's between, like, the two sides of the street. Well, anyways, he was in that, like, ditch. I forget what you call it. Is it like a median? Is it like a median, or is it like, you take my point, but he was sitting in the middle of two cars, zooming on either side of him, and he was doing ASMR, and it was kind of dark and dimly lit, and I just, like, really dug that. Like, I really like when it's all, like, creamy, like that, and I also like, if you guys have noticed, and also really like natural lighting, but candles do have a specific quality to them that I feel like you just can't mimic anywhere else. So I thought that today I could try filming with that lighting. Is the point of this, like, XXL extra long for no reason intro. Another thing I recently got, as you can see, very shiny. They are very shiny, shiny little stones. It is actually rainbow hematite. It is magnetic, which is the reason that they cling together. I'm trying to do it quietly because these are kind of loud if you just play with them naturally, but the way the light glints off them is really cool, I think. It's really cool. So these are a good, like, visual trigger. And the oily, it kind of reminded me of, like, an oil slick, and you can see they're resisting each other. But anyway, so this is like a good auditory and also visual kind of stem or trigger, if you want to call it that. They're good to play with. They stay all together, like they stay all in one in your pocket for the most part. I do occasionally drop one, but that's really only when I'm aggressively playing with them. And I like the clickiness, the clickety-click. So if you like clicky sounds, I just got these off of Etsy. And I ordered them a couple weeks ago because I am starting college soon, and so, well, going back to college. And so I have to stop spending money because I don't want my bank account to get past a certain point. Yeah. So I can't buy anything else. I kind of have to just enjoy what it is I already have. So I wanted to share that with you all. certain classes that I would need, even though my transcript is still being processed. So my choices were something forms of English, or I could choose some kind of writing English class that had to do with Star Wars, and I was like, I saw on Forms of English the book Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, which is considered to be the first science fiction book ever. So I was like, yeah, I've been wanting to read that anyway, so I'm going to pick Frankenstein for my first one. And I said to the lady, I was like, I guess I'm going to pick the Forms of English because I'm not that into Star Wars. If it had been Star Trek, she might have had herself a deal. She might have had herself a deal. She might have had herself a deal. So then the other class that I needed was a science class, because at the ass backwards Baptist school, religious school that I went to, it is like accredited and everything, but we didn't have science classes, which wonder why. We had Bible classes. Like, I literally took Old Testament, like that was a class. Anyway, it's infuriating, but point being, that my choice for that was either anthropology, which seemed like something to do with like bones, and I was like, doesn't really sound that good. My other choice was astronomy, which sounded heavily math-based, and I'm not very good at math. It is honestly my weakest subject. So I was like, oh, I don't really want to do that. And then she's like, there is a third option. It was funny because she didn't say the name of the class, but it was like something to do with sexuality and animals. And since I do, one of the areas that I feel like I'm interested in general, like reading about, is like human sexuality and stuff. Like, although I grew up in fundamentalism, sexuality has always been super just like interesting, fascinating to me. I find it interesting. I don't really think it's like, I don't know, gross, nasty, whatever. Obviously, like, I find offensive men and like creepy men and people who are like fetishizing people who didn't consent to be fetishized. Like, I find all of that super creepy, obviously. And I hate the state of society where it's like women are over sexualized just for breathing, you know? Just for, like, literally, even just like whispering, people make it sexual. But so, anyways, but I was like, I mean, animal sexuality isn't quite the same as human sexuality, but at least it'll be like sort of on a topic I'm like mildly interested in, like very convoluted. But I was like, okay, I guess I'll pick that. And so those are gonna be my two classes coming up here soon. So that's what I picked. They also told me I would need a language requirement, even though I did Spanish. I guess I didn't do a high enough level of Spanish. And they also told me that I have almost all of my requirements for the degree done. I don't know if I said, but I'm doing English. My old major, I was a double major. Go me! I was a double major in digital arts and design, which is like photography, graphic design type stuff. And then also writing, like creative writing. So I did a lot of poetry courses, writing for young adults, composition, stuff like that. So I already have a lot of those requirements done. So I'm going to need some kind of lab in a language requirement. And I freaking hate languages. Like, let me just tell you guys, I am so bad at speaking Spanish. I'm so bad at it. And I know, like, it's the most practical one to do, even though they have, like, French, German. I think she said ASL, which is interesting. I would want to learn ASL, but I feel like it's less practical soon enough. Like, the ideal time to learn a language is when your brain is still forming, when you're super, super young. So the fact that in America we just like wait to teach it until they're in like middle/high school, when like their primary language has always been established, you're never gonna really be bilingual unless you are super skilled and just like have the brain for languages. Like, that's just how I feel. Like, I've never been good at speaking. I'm better at writing, like, mildly, but all the stuff from high school, I forgot the shit because you don't use it. You don't use it, you never use it. So it's just super frustrating to me. I feel like I've taken Spanish so many times and it's just never clicked. Like, it's just never clicked. And I don't know what it would take to like make it click. And I'm not even trying to like be fluent, but I just feel so uncomfortable and out of my depth. And especially like when you have to get up in front of the class and like speak and like just get embarrassed. And I mean, granted, this is all online, so I don't have to deal with that embarrassing stuff. And I also am not going to be attending or dealing with like classmates that are like 19 years old and shit, because that, thinking about how young the average college student is like wild to me. Like, I'm gonna be working full time and also going to school full time, so there's not any specific time that you have to be on the classes, but there are due dates and things like that. And I'm hoping with the lectures and stuff, I don't know how they host the lectures. I think it's through something called Canvas that I've never used before, because again, I attended school like 10 years ago, so I'm hoping it's not that hard to figure out. And I'm also hoping these lectures, like, maybe I can somehow, while I'm working, I usually listen to audiobooks and stuff like that, so if we have assigned reading, I'm hoping that for the books in particular, for the English degree, I can just listen to those, like, while I'm at work. I gotta multitask that way, because I'm not gonna have a ton of free time, and it's already hard for me to stick to a schedule, so I'm really hoping that I can handle this. I'm hoping I can handle this, and I haven't done too much. I'm really hoping I can handle this, and I haven't put, like, too much on my plate. But so, yeah, it would be super weird as being 20, like, almost 30, and going to school with, like, literal children. Now, granted, I work with people that are, like, 22, 21, which is already super young to me. And it's funny because I honestly get along with them better than I do a lot of the people that are, like, late 30s, almost 40s, so it's just strange. Like, I honestly couldn't tell you why. I think maybe because the younger people are more open-minded, maybe. I mean, I know that's something of a stereotype, but maybe it's true. I couldn't tell you. But I think that's enough about school. One thing I love about these candles is like the wax drips. Now, granted, these aren't ones that are purposely supposed to drip, but I think that the I think the drips are super pretty, and it looks really good because these are so like vibrant, like it's such a bright color. But anyway, don't know what that had to do with anything. I just like the way the wax drips. I just like the way the wax drips. Wax drips. Sounds like wax strips. Which, if you guys ever like self-waxed, dear God, it is the most painful thing in the world. Like, yikes. Like flashbacks to when I used to buy the wax strips and like rip them off myself, and every single time, didn't matter how many times you ripped it, I was just like you have to like literally prepare yourself, and then like your leg is like raw, bro. Anyway, a very pleasant memory. I'm sure that's a great time. I'm sure it's a great time. I wonder what bubbles would look like in the candlelight, but I'm gonna try not to blow it towards the camera because they're start doing it more regular. It also is a nice way to film, just because it's not always like, a lot of times it's very harsh sunlight outside. So when I get lucky and there's an overcast day where the lighting isn't like fluctuating as much, that's really nice. But this would give me a way where I can film like at night or when it's darker and still have it be, I couldn't even see those. And still have it to be kind of aesthetic. I hope I'm not messing up my lens right now. If so, I guess I can clean it, but I ran out of those like lens wipes. Oh my god. Just poured it all over me. Great. Just what I need. Bubble stuff all over me. I was trying to like tilt it because it's like I've used a third of it. And this is another one of those things where I just found it at my job. Ooh, that was a close one. I almost put that right into the lens. I think my pants have soaked up most of it, thankfully. Didn't really want to get it. Get it on this chair. I like the sound of them popping. I like the sound of them popping. I like the sound of them popping. Popping. I like the sound of them popping. I like the sound of them popping. What? Oh my god, how did I not even notice that tip this entire time? With my ADD looking ass. The top is how you blow tiny bubbles. Oh my god. Literally, how do I not notice things that are in plain sight? This happens to me like constantly, you guys. Like constantly happened to me today. I pointed out this like bunch of like solar panels that was behind like a fence, and I was like, look at that solar panel farm, like to Adam, and he's like, that's been there, and I'm like, shit. And that literally happens so often. I'm like, how do I not notice things that are in plain sight? Like, that's cool. So you can most of my friends that I still have now, like my lifelong friends. So as stupid as a lot of gifted education is, and the messaging that like you're gonna be some kind of genius, you're gonna like take over the world, you're gonna like be amazing, or you're gonna cure cancer, all of that messaging is extremely harmful, I think, to put onto young children. And at the same time, I think it allowed me to be with people who are really similar to me, so that my chances of making a friend kind of increased. But then there's like the racism of the gifted education system, and just like so many things. Like, I have very, very mixed feelings about it. At the same time that I'm glad I was challenged as a student, there's just certain things about it that bother me to this day. I mean, even just like the idea of like the IQ test being a measurement of intelligence is kind of flawed, because there are multiple types of intelligences, that the IQ test doesn't measure for, and it's also biased towards only white students. So I was one of very few non-white students in my gifted education classes. Now, granted, I lived in a very white area, like, I forget the percentage now, but extremely white area. So there's that. I think my parents really had to push to get me into the program, because I remember retaking the test, because the first time I didn't score high enough. And I don't know if it was just I didn't pay attention, or I like bombed it, or it was only a few points short. I really don't know. But I think being told as a kid that you have to like accomplish all this stuff and like you're the most amazing really does a number on you when you get out to adulthood and realize you're not, you're just a person. Like, you're not, it doesn't make you any better or more special than anyone else. You know, at the end of the day, we're all people that have to like pay bills and like survive in a capitalist cutthroat society. So, but that's just me. Fucking capitalism. Okay. I'm trying to think of what else I should do for this video. Maybe I can get this boy to light up. Looks like I can. My boyfriend also got these pens. These pens. say that? It's a stick of incense, but a piece. Okay, sure, Ariel, sure, Ariel. Let's go with that. Okay, I accidentally hit the camera, so it probably moved. But anyhow, this is some crappy incense that I got from Walmart today because I'm out of the, the nice stuff. The nice stuff, it comes in like a box and it's got this writing on it and a little rectangle. It says knock jump. That's how I say it. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm out of that. So we were at Walmart today getting groceries, and I was like, well, guess I will have to settle for this atrocity. So I got the black orchid. I got a bunch of different ones, but black orchid. Primarily, why did I say that? I got like 4 different kinds. It would only be primarily if I bought like 3 boxes of black orchid and one of another, or 2 and one. You get what I'm saying? My overly precise Spock looking ass. Another thing I hate about these is the way that they tape the ends together. Like why? Okay. It smells so weird. I've done incense before, but I think it's nicer when you can like see the smoke. With this, I feel like it's like you can only see the tip. You can only see the little glowing tip, glowing scribble. Let me scribble that out. Make a mistake, just scribble it out. Scribble it out. And don't worry, you're pretty. Don't worry, you're pretty little head. Don't worry, you're pretty little head. an exception, like just a stunning 50-year-old. Like I feel like most 50-year-olds aren't as good looking as her, but maybe that's just me. But anyways, I think they're the cutest couple, and like the way they share the cigarette, like, and the way she just like covers for him, and the way they like sometimes don't have to talk, like they just know each other. Like, oh my god, they're so cute. And I was like reading some fics, and I'm like, you know, whenever they you know, fuck, you don't have to like cut that, like you can just like show us, it's fine. Like I'm good with it. Like I just think they're the cutest, sexiest. Like something about them together is like sexy as hell. I don't know what it is. I think for like Jimmy, it's Jimmy's fucking voice. Like it's the fucking voice. I don't know what it is about people with that type of voice. It's not even all people, it's just like certain people, but I'm like, damn, that voice. Like I don't know why. I don't know why it's so weird. Like I don't consider myself somebody that's like attracted to like older men. But again, it's kind of hypocritical because like older men can be considered great foxes, but like older women can't. Like you get less attractive the older you are as a woman, whereas I feel like with men, they're allowed to like age like fine wine. So that's kind of irritating if you ask me. It's not really fair. I also like that he's like actually like trying to be with someone his own age, because I feel like in a lot of movies and TV shows, I'm like, I feel like that woman would never be with you. Like in real life, like it's super unrealistic, but that could just be me. It could just be me with my aim. But I feel like it's like men want to imagine that women of a younger age would want to be with them, so that's what they depict in media. Since the majority of media is made by them, and like honestly, men's attraction to like much younger women skeeves me the fuck out. 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 Excuse me. Just color in your eyebrows. Do you have eyebrows that are kind of an orange, that are kind of circular? Do you have eyebrows that are more traditionally sharp? Traditionally sharp. Do you have a unibrow like Frida? Frida Kahlo, the famous artist, Frida. Sorry, I'm just doing like weird experimental stuff. I hope you guys don't mind. Hope you guys do not mind at any point. At any point do you want to get off the ride, please just raise your hand and ask politely if you may be excused, and I will open the ride doors and allow you to jump out of the roller coaster. You're welcome. Also, just like the way that Jimmy like swindles everyone and like everything, and like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like his fatal flaw. The fatal flaw. So many of us have a fatal flaw, do we not? So kind of relatable. It's kind of relatable. Yeah, but what's going on in your world? What's going on in there?